likely risk you'll survive. You know what I mean? Like that's a game you gotta play, sorta. So it's like, yeah, man, there's risk everywhere you go. But unfortunate for those who are, you know. But yo, chat, I'm not gonna waste this whole entire stream talking about funded, man. Not everybody's funded here, right? And we gotta get shit going. We gotta get stuff going here. Let me just send my thing here. I sent everywhere yet? Mods. There we go. Here we go, guys. All right. Anyways, chat. So, let's get into the analysis. All right. So, it's funny because I was talking to my boy yesterday. I was like, last night, I was like, yo, like, it'll be lovely if we can just push up from here and not push further down for London. Because if we can just push up from here towards like 45, 48. Remember how yesterday, chat, we were talking about, oh, we need liquidity to be grabbed, right? Wait, what? Did I miss something? What happened? I don't see anything. What happened? What happened in the chat? Let me go on the YouTube side of things. That's good. You missed your payout? I did miss my payout. I know. I should have just filled the form out when I had time to fill the form out. No, that's the fake account. No, that's the fake account. The real account, I have a check mark on it. Anyways, chat. So, you got a couple things you gotta look out for today. Okay, so obviously NFP at 8:30, and then 10 a.m. ISM manufacturer PMI. But anyways, I was talking to my boy yesterday, and I was talking about how, like, you know, because yesterday we were waiting for liquidity being grabbed, right? We were waiting for liquidity on price on gold here after the rebreak of the highs, right? And it finally happened. It happened after it came down and tapped 38, right? So it finally came up. It's starting to rebreak the highs. I would assume that for NFP, we should see another push up, breaking these highs, tapping into like 19.53. And then once it tap like 5.3, we may look for potential positions, because any given point after 5.3 could easily just be a fake out for us to drive back down to the bottom of the range again, right? Any given point that could happen there. So, yeah, there's that. The daily today. So let's hear. I'm started off. So obviously, chat. It's a new month today, right? So new month today. The monthly has closed bearish here, and I said yesterday, right? Monthly closed bearish, but there's no top wick. So any given point during this monthly candle, which is right now, you could form a top wick for the previous monthly and still continue to push down, right? Because if you look at price here, you're in a range, right? This is your range you're in right now. You're in a range from here, right? And then you got support down here at like 1760, right? So 1760 is a pretty decent range. That range is like a, I mean, that's a massive range, right? That range is like a, how big is this range? A 2,000 pip range, right? 2,300 pip range. So it's like, it's a pretty massive range, but this is just the range we're in. You can probably move it up a little bit to maybe like here instead and say this is the range that you're in. But like over next target, I'll say will be down here at the support level, right around here at 1880, 1875, right? But yeah, this is the range you're in. You can see like this resistance being formed there, right? Last time price closed at resistance, which was this level, price is able to come down to fill the rest of the range, right? And that's sort of what happened here. You came down, filled the range, and then you came down and you filled the range as well here. So my concern is that you never really came up and you never really tapped into this range here at 2000. So I believe as you create a top wick this month, you should come up and tap 2000 before making a decision on where it wants to go next. Again, you're technically bearish though, right? But I'm expecting to break the highs. Once you break the highs, price has a decision to either flip bearish on the monthly or continue to push further up. If it flips bearish on the monthly, it's gonna look something like this, obviously, right? For a monthly candle, right? That'll be perfect. You create a top wick, you flip, and then you fill the wick. And as you fill the wick, you'll have clean traffic driving down till the next support at 1895, or 18, wherever this is, 18, 18, 18, 20, right? So that's kind of what you're looking at for the monthly. It's obviously the first day, so don't expect that the whole entire move to happen today, right? I highly doubt it. That's a pretty big push if that were to happen. But in terms of the weekly, you obviously have 8 hours left. Today's a Friday, right? So you're still, chat, take a look at this. You're still below this range here, right? Like you're still below this resistance here on price, because price closed opened up on Monday, right? And it was never above this red line here, 1920-ish levels. You see this current price? You never closed above, right? There's a resistance right around here. You never closed above. You closed right at it. So at any given point, what could happen this month, or this week, sorry, is you can literally just flip bearish though. This could just be a top wick for all I know, grabbing liquidity. I don't know, right? It could be, could not be. I don't know, right? But all we're doing right now is we're using the higher time frame, and we're shifting down time frames to get a better story for the day, get a better story for what's going to happen for NFP, right? So, but yeah, like that's the weekly shows that, you know, at any given point this could happen. So don't be surprised if this were to happen, right? But then again, this also might not happen. Price may just continue to push further up and then close bullish on the weekly for next week to continue pushing up as well. That might make sense too, because if you do close bullish on a weekly, then the monthly has no top wick, right? And I mentioned the monthly, if it were to create a top wick, wherever the top, 2000. So any given point, yeah, I mean, this could happen next week, right? As you're above the range. So who knows? One thing though is that the weekly obviously has no bottom wick, so that could be a factor to next week, but we'll discuss that by end of the session, or maybe even next week once price looks a certain way with less time on the dash, because you don't got much time left in the day, right? So, but yeah, like that's like what you're looking at for the weekly. You're still below that range there, so any given point, what can happen here is you can literally just flip bearish, right? You're gonna see that like all times where price were below, like I'll say these ranges here, right? All the times where we're below these price points, these ranges, price was able to make its way down, right? You're gonna see that like last time price closed below, which was this one, the current candle price, right? You would have expected a push to drive further down here, a push to drive further down, right? You would have expected a push to drive further down, right? The issue with this closure that we have compared to the other ones to the left is that there's no liquidity being grabbed on the current price, right? Whereas here you have liquid being grabbed over here, right? You have a top wick here. In this case, on this push down, you got a top wick over here, right? Same thing here. You have a top wick over here. You have a top wick over here, right? So if you were to connect the dots and find your average top wick area, it's likely going to be like somewhere over here. And you haven't really tapped that, right? So if you come up here today, tap 1960, 1953, that's going to be around the same area, same level-ish kind of. So you could expect a flip today for all I know. Dropping down to daily time from today shows that we are bearish technically still. There's a resistance here that's being formed right around here, 1843. And it looks like you are... yeah, it looks like you closed respecting the most recent resistance today, right? So yesterday you closed bullish respecting, right? So we mentioned that, but today you actually closed bearish. Now, is this strong enough of a bearish closure for me to confidently say that you're gonna just continue to flip and drive down towards here? It's not the strongest closure. If it looks somewhat like this, if there was like a steeper bottom wick yesterday and it looks somewhat like this, right? Then sure, this is perfect. You know, top wick and you continue to push down, right? But this, any given point, again, it can still easily just break the highs and drive up for the day. Also, there's no bottom wick on a daily as well, which doesn't really help the idea. Which makes me think, is this your support then instead on price? Because if this is your support on price, then if this is your support on price, then you're respecting support basically still. And if you're respecting support, you could continue to drive up, but to continue driving up, I'd assume you get some type of bottom wick, some type of liquid being grabbed in these areas here where price grabbed in the past, right? In these ranges at 1925 today before coming up. So we can also play that as well. So all I'm doing right now is I'm trying to figure out the idea, right? I'm trying to figure out, I'm not trying to figure out entries, not trying to figure out like what I'm doing exactly, but I'm trying to figure out in terms of like looking for directions today on where price is headed. If it were to do this, what would it need to do next? If it were to do this, what would it need to do next, right? Like I'm plotting out ideas. I'm planning to see what price is able to do today off of what it's formed. And then from there on, since I have those levels now in mind, I'll look for price entry levels at those areas. You know what I mean? So right now, all I'm looking at is I'm looking to see, okay, well, if price were to continue driving up now, where would it need to tap before driving up? I mentioned 1925. Why? Because of these areas to the left here, right? To grab liquidity. So that's a key level that I keep in the back of my mind. All right, so I'll put a line here or something. And then I'll be like, okay, well, if price were to drive down today, all right, because you closed respecting resistance, if that were to be the case instead, where would I need to tap before coming down? Looking left, we established this yesterday already. We said 1953, right? 1953, 1954, which is going to be anywhere in this range here, right? 55 to 60. I'll put it there to be safe, right around here. So like you have a level there as well. So basically what this means is that you're in the middle of a range, right? You haven't tapped 1955, you haven't, or 1953, you haven't tapped 1930 or 1930 yet, 1925 levels yet. You're just in the middle of the range. And since you're in the middle of the range, there won't be a strong I guess like idea or strong catalyst on price to drive, right? Because in order for price to drive a certain direction today, it needs to tap a certain level, and that certain level is 55 and 25, and either has tapped yet, right? So once you actually see price tap those levels, you see a strong movement of price, either to continue price or to reject and reverse our price, right? So key levels there. Let me just go down to the 4-hour time frame. What's the show? So obviously, just a recap, right? Monthly time frame. What does it have? It has no top wick. Any given point, it could create a top wick before driving down. Weekly time frame. What happened? Weekly close bullish respecting resistance, right? So any given point, that candle could still come down and flip bearish. You have 9 hours left into the day. The daily close at resistance, or did it close at support? We're trying to figure that out right now, right? So if it closes at support, is it going to continue up? If so, where's it going to tap first? If it's going to flip bearish with the daily, where must it tap before flipping bearish on the daily, right? So that's what we got right now with all those time frames so far. Now drop down to the 4-hour time frame. This is where things get a little interesting. You got a range here formed, obviously. First thing I noticed, right? So you have a resistance here. You got like a support right around here. This is the range you're in, right? So this range is obviously where we've been since Wednesday. You had a huge push on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then today's Friday, right? So you've been picking up on volume. It's just there's no liquidity being grabbed there, right? Like even if you were to pop up, right? Because like look left, right, chat. If you were to come up today, where's your next target? Looking left, you're looking at like minimum like 1853, right? So 1853, you could tap 1853 for news, right? But your overall next resistance, like your major zone in terms of clean traffic next, is 1871 or 1971. So those are your two ranges you're playing at right now. You're playing, or not 71, you're playing at there you go, 67. You're playing at 53, you're playing at 67. There's a possibility with the liquidity we have so far on this price, you could push up towards 53. Very likely, right? But the question is, what happens after 53? If you had something like this though, right? And then you had a count pushing up, then you're gonna break 5-3. You're gonna break 5-3 to continue up towards 6-7 to mirror that entire range up. And what are you mirroring? You're mirroring this traffic to the left, right? All these ranges to the left here. But that didn't happen. You haven't grabbed that yet, and that's why I wanted to grab it Wednesday, Thursday, or the last 2 days, because I wanted to get buys to go up towards the next resistance. Since I was still bullish even when we took sells on Thursday, right? I was overall still bullish for the weekly. It's just price needs to tap a certain level for me to get an entry and be bullish towards a certain level. Now, can we be bullish towards 5-3? Of course. Can we take bias towards 5-3? I don't know. There's news here coming out in about 20 minutes here, right? And I'd rather have news give me the direction on where it wants to go. So let's say like news comes out. First thing it does is pushes up towards 5-3. If that were to happen and you end up flipping bearish now at 4-3 again, you're likely going to continue pushing down, because if that wasn't enough liquidity for us to drive up yet, what can happen is this: you can literally just push up, boom, boom, and end up flipping bearish, and then that's your 4-hour candle close, and then your next 4-hour candle close, or this might be your 4-hour candle close. I might be exaggerating, but This could be your 4-hour close, right? You come up tap 5-3 for NFP, you flip bearish, all of a sudden you close bearish in the 4-hour candle at 9 a.m. Next candle continues to push further down towards your next support, whatever that is, right? So that could play out as well. That's what I would like to happen, right? But obviously, just because I like it to happen doesn't mean it must happen, right? But that's the 4-hour time frame. That's what I'm kind of looking at right now. In terms of the 1-hour time frame, 1 hour 30 15 5, I kind of use, I guess, like all in once. I just choose a time frame between the three to kind of mark up my zones, because like I now have an idea off of the higher time frame. The smaller time frame is really for entries and exact rejection levels, right? So I think I'll probably leave it on 30 for now, since you have news at 8:30. So I'll mark up my resistance here. Or actually, first step is you clear your charts. So I clear my charts, right click, remove drawings. Resistance, I'll say right around here. Yeah, resistance, right? Cool. Straightforward. Everyone knows how to draw more resistance. Might move it up now towards 4.9, just because there's levels here being respected. So left IC, so 4.9566 should be a pretty decent ideal level. Yeah, perfect. What is this? 50. What's at this level? 50, 50, 50. Nah, I'll probably move it back down. 4.9. Yeah, 4.9 makes more sense. All right, resistance going across on price here. So right, you know, resistance, support, whatever. Right. So cool. Just your current ranges, right? At 19.58, 19.59. Obviously, you have a support formed right around here. Major zone right around here as well at 19.34. That's pretty straightforward. Don't really gotta do much there. You can move it down a little further. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Yeah, resistance, support. I'll move it right around here. Cool. All right, so you have that support being formed. This is the range overall, right? Like, this is what you're looking at today. This is the range you're gonna spend majority of the day in until you actually break out, or until you actually grab liquidity somewhere to go down or to go up, right? So if you were to grab liquidity going up again, what I say, chat, or going down, what I say the next resistance was 19.53, right? So 19.53. Let's look in those ranges here to see what makes the most sense. So obviously you have a resistance here at 19.53. So let's go ahead and mark up the simple resistance, right, as it is, as we normally would. All right, so resistance is formed there. And then, okay, now if you were to come up and create a top wick and tap and respect 4.9, where would it likely reject that? So we know 63 or 53 is a pretty strong resistance for, if price were to close above there, it's going to continue to drive further up. But if it doesn't close above there, then where could you possibly tap? I'll say anywhere in this zone. 5.3.7, or maybe even you might even see 5.4, but I think 5.3.7 should be pretty ideal. Let me keep scrolling a little bit. What is this? 5.3.8. Yeah, 5.3.7 looks pretty ideal. So yeah, potential sells at 5.3.7 here, because you know there's like a 85% chance we're gonna drive up towards 19.53 here. It's just what's gonna happen on 19.53, right? And no, I can't take buys here because I needed liquidity to drive up, and that wasn't enough for me, right? But it's a good thing. Right, because like there's obviously your support here now on price, or my bad, support at 1933. If you were to continue to drive up, I would have wanted to see liquidity being grabbed at like 1926, 1920, like down here, 26, 25, right, in those zones there, and that never happened, and I wasn't expecting that to happen. But it's good because now you have a better sense of direction. Like if you didn't grab liquidity going up yet, and you're starting to break structure, you can kind of see the structure being broken now, right? Like You know what I mean? So now if you just grab liquidity at 5.3, any given point, that count could just, you know, dip off for 9. So yeah, like there won't be buys for me for a while until you tap like 26 or something. But I doubt today with news that you'll get this sell before news. If anything, you might get it after news. You have about 15 minutes left. I doubt price will just come down, tap 26 to drop towards, you know, 60, 70 or whatever next target is in about 10 minutes. It's kind of a stretch, not gonna lie to you guys, but we can take advantage of this for now, for the time being. All right, chat. But that's what I'm looking for today. Potential sells there, and obviously potential buys here. That could change in a session. Likely we will change it up because I always tell you guys, like during my day and me doing my analysis, it's always going to change, right? Throughout the session, things change. Market shifts, market moves, market prints candles, market closes above a certain level, market rejects a certain level, right? Those things matter. So you can't have the same analysis you had from the morning for the rest of the day, right? So like there's times where I come to my charts, I might not understand price, but after price prints more data, you know, an hour or two goes by, cool, I have a better understanding of the charts. I now have a more ideal position in mind than I had before in the past, right? And same thing for my analysis here as well. Like I have this analysis right now for obviously sells at 5.3, but if news comes out and pushes past 5.3, I can't take sells there, right? So I need price to, like, you know, close maybe like during news or 8.35, like respecting like 5.3 or respecting 4.9, 4.8. All of a sudden you get a spike up, you have the zucchini up at 5.3 to come down. Like, you know, like I think I need things to form first, right? But if price just decides to drive straight past 5.3, then we know where we're going next. We know we're going to 1960 next, right? So then thereon, it would be like, okay, well, now where can I get buys before I go up? And if you look left, like if you were to grab liquidity towards 60, right, you would need to close above, you know, 5.3 first, and then put some bottom wicks in these ranges here before making its way up. But we'll figure it out later. All right, that's not too important right now. What's important is seeing this count push up towards 1953 and being able to understand why and how it's pushing up. And also understand that not every position is also going to be, or not every move that you expect is going to be a position you can take, right? But yeah, Chad, that's the analysis, all right? Yeah, it's clear on that. If you have any questions, let me know. I don't sell fibs, I swear, man. But this is a 38.2 fib, I can tell you that, right, Valentino? I can tell you that. All right, now Don, buy or sell gold. Ah, man, never gets